The Jacks are back. Home action again in Lumberjack Arena. Only 4 more times you're going to see these basketball teams play if you want to do it here in Arcata, so you need to get out. And we are covering lots of hoops. We have DJ Broome, head coach of the men. They're taking on the #2 team in the nation, Cal State East Bay this week, Michelle Bento-Jackson. The Jacks hard hats are on. They are winning. Shade Satiga's got the stickiest fingers in all the land. We'll explain. And athletic director Nick Pettit, all right here, Humboldt All-Axess. Pleasure to be joined by head coach of the men's basketball team, DJ Broome. All right, coach, obviously coming off a tough road trip. Let's get that out of the way, the bad first. Obviously the offensive boards, or just the boards in general, that was tough against Stan State.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the stat sheet, it's pretty incredible that we were even in the game. You had 18 turnovers, you had a total of 25 rebounds, and I believe they had 24 offensive rebounds. So obviously didn't do a good job on the boards. We got to be tougher, we got to be more physical. And just have a total higher urgency in general for these games to get where we want to go. So had a good practice today, did a lot of rebounding, so hopefully that translates into Thursday where you play East Bay team that crashes really hard. So
yeah, well, the good news is, coach, I mean, look, with 6 games to go, you're in 3rd place. The work's, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, how do you, focus on the positives and let these guys know we're not going to be judged by, 1 or 2 games?
Yeah, no, I think the focus is just getting back to playing good basketball. Obviously, we played well in a long stretch that put us in position to, when we have this setback, still be in a pretty good spot. So you're a game up in 3rd place, game behind Dominguez Hills, which is one, we wish we could have back, at least the last 2 minutes of it. But it's just back to getting our vibes right, playing good basketball, being focused and energetic on both sides of the ball. And, I mean, there's no better place to get back on track than at home. Is
it wild for you, or I don't know what it's like inside? Obviously, you're coaching, this is your team, but from the outside, beginning of the season, expectations super low. Next thing you know, you guys are winning, it's put together, expectations super high. And then I think it's a testament to you and what a great job you and CV and the players and Coach Johnson have done that, the fans now, after a couple losses, are bummed in their jacks and want them to get back to their winning ways.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what this place is and what it's about. I don't know that my, expectations were ever as low as others.
No, hey, you told me on the golf course, JB, pound the over, you're a moron.
Yeah. But yeah, we got to get back to being who we are and then find the consistency and stay there. So, obviously 3 weeks left in the regular season. You got 6 games to get right going into the conference tournament, and then hopefully playing after that. So, like I said, it's a focus thing for the most part, and we got to bring it out the gate on Thursday.
Well, you got your work cut out. #2 team in the nation, I think they're up to, Cal State East Bay, led by Coach Rooney. Last undefeated team left in Division II. But look, I could think there's no better place you'd rather play them than right here in Lumberjack Arena.
Oh yeah, no, there's no fear attached. I think guys are anxious to get some get back for how it went down there, where we were just overmatched and not ready to play. They threw the first couple punches and we never punched back. So really good team, really well coached. They're physical, they're athletic, they come at you in waves and play a lot of guys. So like I said, it'll be a game that really tests us in what's been letting us down, and turn the ball over and rebound the basketball and then execute on offense. But if we do those 3 things, we'll be in the game.
You mentioned a lot of things. I mean, I am shocked. I saw them play once and they looked very good, but here they are having a great season. What do they do that really separates them from the rest of the CC2A?
I think they just muck up the game. Like I said, they play a lot of guys. They're gonna pick you up full court every possession. They're gonna run some traps sometimes in the half court, try to turn you over, and then they really want to cause chaos once you get on your offensive end. So they try to keep you out of running your stuff and executing. So you're taking quick shots, you're taking bad shots, and then obviously turn the ball over as well. And then they're ridiculous in transition. They run as hard as any team I've ever seen in transition, and they're crashing super hard too. So giving themselves second chances. And I mean, you got athletes, you got shooters, they got a good mix of everything. So they've done a good job. You got to give them a lot of credit. But like you said, there's no better place we like to play them than at home on Thursday.
Absolutely. And with that said, from an X's and O's standpoint, what do the Jacks need to do to send the home fans happy and Coach Rooney and company with a bad taste in their mouth for the first time this season?
Yeah, I think the main thing is taking care of the ball and controlling the glass. If we can hold them to 1 shot and get a good shot on our end, we'll be in a great spot. Shaq was pretty good down there, getting the ball inside and executing down low. So if we can get him easy touches around the rim, obviously knock down some shots if they're starting to double team and making adjustments, which they will, we'll be in a good spot. But I liked our practice today. I like our vibe and kind of how guys have bounced back after a couple weeks on the road and taking 3 tough losses. So we'll be ready to play.
Magic number that Drew Gorder gave me the other day, when the Jacks win, or when they score more than 70 points, you win the majority of your games. When you fall under that line, it's only 2 wins to speak of under 70 points. Does that mean anything? Is it just a coincidence?
I think there's a correlation between us scoring 70 and how well we execute, how well we share the ball, and probably how well we take care of the ball. Obviously, when you're not throwing it to other team, you get more shots, and the more shots you get, usually the more points you score. So I think there's definitely a correlation. I mean, you look at our talent level and depth, and you would think 70 would be pretty easy to get to. But we got to do it on both sides of the ball. And like I said, if our focus is right, if our vibe is right, if we're executing, that should be a number that's pretty easy to get to at home.
Yeah, talking about vibe, final question just about the Jags getting that swagger, the Jacks getting that swagger, because when they have swagger, they seem to play well, which is, I mean, I guess is obvious, but whereas I kind of, you notice the body language is a little different in the games, the Jacks just don't quite get over the hump.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think we have an interesting group with so many different personalities that, you know, everybody revs the engine a little differently. But I think when you show it to them on film and they got challenged pretty good, they usually respond. So I give them a lot of credit for that. So looking forward to seeing what the group looks like on Thursday. Obviously, they've seen the low points and the low lights, and obviously you show them what they do well and what they need to do to be successful.
Coach, cannot wait. That is Thursday night versus the number 2 team in the nation, East Bay, but it's all about the Jacks and the Jack fans. We'll see you out here back after these messages. Joined by head women's basketball coach Michelle Bento-Jackson. Coach, I was really impressed by the road trip. In the end, you get the split, and I thought it was just, you know, they're not games that are going to go down in the all-time classics or anything like that, but it was a hard-hat lumberjack performance by the Jacks, gutting out 2 wins.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously we weren't too pleased with our performance the previous week on the road, so we needed to redeem ourselves, get ourselves back in the win column, and most importantly, just play better basketball.
Well, you talk about this team always, you know, works, and I think that was evident as, look, it's a tough game. Both the games turned out to be tough. Merced hammering the threes. They kind of reeled you guys back each time, and Merced led for a majority of the game, and it was back and forth heading into the third, and then the fourth, it was kind of like the Lumberjacks just said, we've had enough. But it wasn't, you know, like somebody went for 30 or did these dynamic plays. It was just kind of chipping away, and in the end, you guys had more in the tank than they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought in the Merced game in particular, I thought we really had great balance between the inside presence of Jordan Smith, and then, you know, we knocked down some outside shots, which certainly helps. And I give a lot of credit to Jada Barnes. You know, she stepped into the starting role in both of these games this weekend. I thought she did a great job of just controlling the tempo of the game, and everybody kind of fed off of that.
All right, maybe it's a chicken or the egg thing. Jordan Smith plays well, puts up numbers. The Jacks seem to do well. What's the correlation between, you know, her and the Jacks winning?
I mean, obviously she's a huge part of what we do, and you know, I think to the outside person, everybody sees the numbers and the stats for her offense, but she's a huge factor for us on the defensive end as well. Just her length and her presence alone, I think really changes things on the defensive end. And that is certainly not to go unnoticed. But when we can get that balance again from our perimeter play along with Jordan on the inside, obviously, and we scored in the 70s both games this weekend, whereas the previous weekend I believe we were in the 40s. Yep. So when we have that balance with everybody scoring, we're just that much more of a threat.
Yeah, it's funny, things that don't show up on the stat sheet, but obviously I've got a great seat for it. She affects a lot of shots. Because people are like, I don't want to get blocked, but the ball then is nowhere near the basket.
Really, and sometimes it's just, you know, players driving and they see her in there and they don't even continue, right. Or she changes their shots, or, you know, yes, of course, get some block shots, but yeah, her presence is a huge part of our defense on the half-court defense. All
right, speaking of which, guest coming up a little later, Satica, tell us about her. I mean, she's stealing lunch money out there left and right. I believe number 2 in the nation in steals. That's got to be a nice addition, because I know you love defense, and steals are really nice.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you know, 2 things with her. One, it's just the motor that she plays with. her knack for the ball. She has a pretty good, feel for where to be at certain times, and the ball tends to fall in her hands, and that's not by accident. It's because she puts herself in the proper position. So obviously when we can turn, our opponents over, that just helps our defense, and, we want to convert into fast break situations for ourselves.
Okay, with the men, they're in a dogfight with a bunch of teams trying to not only get into the playoffs, but position into the playoffs. For you guys, you're kind of in that cut above the rest of the conference, and I'm going to be honest, it would be a letdown if you were to come back to the pack. So with that said, what are the goals for this team with 6 to go and an eye on March?
Absolutely. And we know how this conference is. Nothing is guaranteed yet. We have 6 remaining games. 4 of them are here in Lumberjack Arena, which obviously we love that.
Yes.
But as I've told the team all year, we just want to continue to improve. And, probably with every team every year, we have some bumps in the roads. We take some steps backwards. And I thought this last weekend, it just gave the girls some confidence. We started playing better. And obviously we want to continue that because we need to be playing our best ball going into end of February.
Yeah, I guess that's the key, right? Is not to be playing your best in the beginning of February. It's
right.
to be playing your best when March comes around. Okay, with that said, East Bay, I talked about the last 2 games. I thought they were, workmanlike, yeoman's efforts. I thought the East Bay game was one of your best games of the year. You went out there and you just bludgeoned a really good team. So how do you try to redo that or, try to fend them off? Because they're going to want to come in here and play spoiler, and they're fighting for their lives when it comes to March.
They really are, and we had even talked about that as a team with this, with Stanislaus. They're hungry, they have nothing to lose, and obviously with East Bay right now, they're also hungry, trying to fight their way in. So everybody has different motives right now. Everybody has different motivation. But with us, I really felt like we took a step forward in the Stanislaus game with our defensive intensity. Now, the goal for us obviously is to sustain that for 40 minutes, but our defense isn't going to waver, and certainly we just want to be the aggressors on the offensive end and really challenge East Bay in their both full court and half court defense.
And then for San Francisco State, it seems like, I'm going to say cliche, but kind of throw the records out. Not a lot of love lost when the Gators and the Lumberjacks seem to hook up.
No, it's not. But again, regardless of the opponent, I really try to keep our team right now more focused on ourselves. Of course, we're going to prepare, we're going to do scout and all of that, but this really comes down to what kind of brand of basketball do we want to play, and, again, maintaining that for 40 minutes. I
know you're anytime, anywhere, but with that said, you got the best fans in the conference. What would you say to the Lumberjack faithful to continue their support that they've brought this year to bring it 4 more times starting on Thursday?
Absolutely. I think the crowds and the environment have been great this year, and not only for our women's team, but for the men's team as well. We're both fighting right now to finish this season off strong, and whether it be the university community or Humboldt community as a whole, we'd love for everybody to come out and really cheer on both teams as we're both fighting for the conference tournament.
The answer is yes. We want you all out there. Running out of time, so it's Thursday night versus East Bay and Saturday versus San Francisco State. Coach, thank you and good luck.
All right, thanks, JB.
There she is, Michelle Bento-Jackson. More Humboldt All-Axess right after this. Oh, it is an honor to be joined by Satica here on Humboldt All-Axess, the number 2 Steeler in all of the land. You look nice, you look like the girl next door, yet you're stealing lunch money left and right. Talk to us about what goes into being a great Steeler of the basketball.
Yeah, just the basketball.
Yeah, of course.
Honestly, I feel like I just get put in the right positions or get myself in the right positions. I think a lot of them come from our press, and early on in the season when our press was working really good, it came from that a lot because I'm in that middle position, and I kind of just read and then go towards what.
I was thinking about it as I was driving up today. I was like, a lot of it has to be anticipation, right?
Yeah.
And like kind of a knack of where the ball is going to be.
Yeah. Just kind of reading the person who has the ball and guessing what they're going to do next.
I guess right. And also, you've got, I've been covering a lot of basketball over the years. You've got one of the highest motors I've seen on anybody. Just talk about your energy level and how you just, it's cliche, but you look like you're going 110% the whole time you're out there.
I think I'm just really competitive, and I just want to be in the position that I can always be a factor and make a difference on the court. And so if I can be on the court for as long as I can, I'm going to make it happen.
Now, you did have that little kind of like bump in the road a couple weeks back where you were getting a little bit of foul trouble.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I talked to Coach about it, and I just assumed, she's being too aggressive to go for steals. And she's like, no. So that's not bothering me. It's the other stuff she's doing. So just kind of walk us through that, and then just talk about walking that fine line of being a great defender and remaining on the floor when you don't get in foul trouble.
Yeah, we had that conversation, I think, 2 weeks ago when we were traveling. It was kind of just what was getting me in that position and how I need to stop doing that. And I was honestly just not being a great defender at the moment. I was getting beat, and then I was putting my two hands on when I just needed to move my feet and get in that position. But
so forget the hands. It's all about the feet when it comes to this. And the brain. Okay, just talk about this team. You girls, we've seen you kind of, for the most part, be up, and then you had that little dip, that tough road trip where, I mean, you ran into a buzzsaw in LA, and then I'm sure it was a disappointment to lose to Dominguez Hills, but you got back on track this weekend, and, what is the limit for this squad?
I think we all want to win, and we all kind of have the same viewpoint, and we all want to buy in. We had a conversation after that little losing streak and kind of just checked each other and decided what we need from each other.
Okay.
And I think that helped a lot.
And what do you guys need from each other?
I'll talk about myself a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
We kind of just decided, or from my teammates and then also myself, that I just need to keep being aggressive and be on the boards and that type of thing, just rebounding.
All right, I'm going to play the you finish my statement game. The Lumberjacks are playing bad because...
we're not being aggressive.
Okay, the Lumberjacks are playing good when...
we're being aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've seen everybody in this league at least once. You've got 6 more games to go, 4 of which are right here. I mean, I assume you guys can beat anybody, right?
Yeah, that's what we think. Yeah, got the mindset.
Are you guys, I mean, it's tough, and I'm sure Coach has got you locked in game in and game out, but is March starting to think about March? Because, I mean, that's in the end, like, that's going to separate how this team is remembered depending on what they do when February is over.
I mean, it's one game at a time. We're going to keep chipping away, keep getting our wins, and then we'll get there.
Now, you came over here from Butte. You're a Susanville product. What do you think about playing here in Lumberjack Arena? And what would you say to the fans who maybe are on the fence or haven't made up their weekend plans on Thursday and Saturday and what they're going to do?
That they better be there, because the atmosphere is just so fun.
Isn't the energy a good time?
I mean, our gym is like the best to play in. We have the most fans that show up compared to like away games. It's awesome. And
tell us about your journey and how, somebody from Susanville, California gets a little closer, works their way over to Butte, and then obviously, your final destination here of Arcata.
Yeah. My senior year of high school, we ended up at our section game, and we ended up winning. The Butte coaches recruited me. They actually ended up leaving my first year.
Okay.
So I've had 3 different coaches the last 3 years. So first year, we had a good season, made it to the Final Four.
Yeah, because that staff's down, like Reedley or something?
Sequoias.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they ended up leaving, and then we got new coaches, Philip. He also is alumni here. So he played on the
Okay, good. It's good to know, because I heard when they came over here and played CR, he was wearing a Humboldt shirt.
Yeah, he was a big factor in helping me come up here because he was pushing the alumni. He was like, you'll love it. The facilities, it's amazing.
I love that. Shay, just tell us about what you're like when you're not hooping, what you're up to and what we can find you, enjoying.
I love being outdoors and just doing all the things. Yeah, hanging out with family.
What are you majoring in?
Majoring in rangeland management.
Okay.
Yeah, so I love the outdoors. I love all the things outdoors.
Do you think you're, look, I know I'm not sound like your parents here, but back to Susanville after graduation,
Possibly.
or see where the wind blows you?
I think after I graduate, I'll kind of have a better viewpoint of what I want to do, but I do love Susanville.
It is, I mean, every time I drive through there, usually if I'm going to Reno for some odd reason, it is it's just so beautiful on the other side of the mountain, that high desert and Sierras.
And it's awesome because we have the mountains, but then we also have the high desert, so it's a little bit of both.
Pretty good mix.
Yeah.
And they raised you right out there. Hey, appreciate it, and good luck with the rest of the season. I guess just individually, how much do you notice the national rankings for the individual statistics?
Honestly, I don't look it up. I don't pay attention.
Shades of Satica right here. We're back. Nick Pettit rounds it out on Humboldt All-Axess. Joined last but not least, our fearless leader, Dr. Nick Pettit, athletic director here at Humboldt. Nick, appreciate the time, and thanks for joining us. And was this year 3 now?
It is.
All right, year 3. What are you liking most about the Lumberjack Nation?
Oh man, our student athletes come out and compete every day, on and off the court. We just got the grades back from the fall semester, and the women had a 3.5 cumulative GPA average, and the men a 3.2. So we're winning in the classroom. You know, our two basketball teams, the men and the women right now, are competing at a high level, both in 3rd place. So the winter's going well. Things are cruising along nicely right now.
Yeah, it is winter season, so let's talk about that. You've got to be happy as the leader of this department that both teams are playing exciting basketball and winning basketball. What does that mean for you, your department, and when you're out there in the community?
Yeah, well, I think it shows growth is what it shows, and we have 2 great coaches that are some of the I always say our coaches are some of the best educators on campus, and they're doing a phenomenal job. DJ came in kind of the last minute, put a team together, and they're excelling on the court. And Michelle put her team together too, and both in 3rd place. You couldn't ask for much more. They're fighting their tails off, and we're looking forward to these last 6 games to see where we end up. But it's huge not only for the athletic department, but for the Lumberjack Nation and the community. Our last couple home games, we had a great crowd, and that truly makes a difference. Our atmosphere is one of the best in the conference, if not the best, and it's a difficult place to play. And when the community comes out and supports, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it is one of those deals. I know the players love it, and yeah, it's just for the fans, right? I mean, I consider myself, the fan with the best seats, but it just makes such a better night, better atmosphere, and from the opposing teams, they're feeling it too when it kind of feels like 6-on-5 out there.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And ironically enough, President Carvajal, that was his first week on campus, and he comes to those 2 home games, and the place was hopping pretty good, and the crowd, he's like, is the crowd always into it like this? And I was like, yeah, we're building, we're getting momentum, and people are showing up, and it really makes a difference for the student athletes and the atmosphere. So
and he's out there passing up pizzas or passing them out, really going to fan number 1 out there and picking it up with the students. Let's talk about, there is a new boss in town, your boss, of course, for the entire place, Richard Carvajal. What discussions have you guys had in regards to what athletics means to him and his expectations for this department as a whole when it comes to the university?
Yeah, he actually just met with our staff this morning, came in and for kind of a somewhat an informal listening session, hearing their perspectives on things, some of the things we do well, some of the things that we want to keep doing, some of the things that we can improve upon. And he's been doing that throughout the campus community.
Nice.
Today was just our day for him to join us. So, he's engaged. He loves athletics. He'll talk about that. He's an extremely competitive person, which I am too. So I love that. And he wants to win, and we all want to win. And right now we're heading in a very good direction for that. And as evidenced by our 2 basketball teams, our women's soccer team was really successful, making the NCAA.
Great run there.
Yeah, great run at the end. And so we're building, we're getting that momentum, and he'll have different ideas of different schools he's been at and bring those to the table, and hopefully we'll just keep moving forward in a positive direction.
Well, look, I've been here long enough to know, and you've been around athletics long enough to know that it starts at the top. And I think, you look, he was at Valdosta State, and athletics, if you look at the win-loss record, it clearly meant something to him, and he was competitive with that. You talked about putting teams together. I think I speak for all fans in the NCAA in general. It's frustrating to just see the turnover, and it seems to be the Wild West. Are we going to get any sort of leadership from the top, or are things going to settle down, or is it just going to be like starting over every single year for coaches?
Yeah, it's really tough for the coaches. The transfer portal and NIL has really changed the landscape of college athletics, and it's one more thing they have to worry about. And that's why it's so important to try to create a great experience for the student athletes out in the community, in the classroom, on the court or playing field, to make sure you're building that team dynamic to where they want to stick around, because they have other options.
Right.
And hopefully what we can present them with here at Cal Poly Humboldt is somewhere that they want to stay. But it's always out there, and it's challenging, and we look at retention, we look at different things, and it's difficult. It's a world we live in college athletics now. Not a big fan of it, but I think sometimes you just got to accept it and move on.
Right.
and try to build that team dynamic to where they want to stick around.
Well, it's interesting, like talking to Shay here moments ago, her favorite part about Humboldt is the fan base, and I'm sure other players in the CC2A at the other schools, they come in and notice, like, oh, this is a lot better than Dominguez Hills on a Saturday afternoon. Speaking of big things, the auction isn't that far out. What can you tell me about this year's auction, and of course how people can get involved, sign up, and show up? Or even if they can't show up, maybe they got some awesome stuff they want to donate to help the program raise some cash.
Yeah, so our biggest fundraising event is right around the corner, April 11th, out at Blue Lake Casino. We have Robert Prince coming in. He's a wide receivers coach for the Atlanta Falcons. Alumni from here. He played.
Did a tour of duty in Detroit.
He did. Go Lions. Yeah, so he'll be here as our guest speaker. We're trying to change the guest speakers for the event to now have it more alumni focused. Somebody that's really been impacted by their experience here on campus and being a Lumberjack. So we bring them back, let them tell their story of the community. And it's like I said, it's the biggest fundraiser of the year, so come out and support us. You can go online, pick up tickets there, call us, and we'll make sure that you have access to the tickets. But
I love it.
last year we came close to selling out, so let's see if we can do that.
Let's sell out this year.
Let's sell it out, pack the house, and raise some money for scholarships.
I love it. Nick, thank you. Appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, JB. Appreciate it.
AD Nick Pettit, that's all. See you next week.